Hello everybody, JGC Anime here, and welcome back to another video where today I'm going to be reviewing My Next Life as a Villainess. And it's a longer title, but I'm not going to read the whole thing because it is a lot, and I just want to move on to the review. So, I wanted to quickly mention this to you all, but actually, if you check out my main YouTube channel, JG Crafter, which is a gaming type channel, I hold a weekly poll there every single Friday to vote for the next anime review. So if you haven't come here from that channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you want, since every single Friday a community post will be uploaded at some random time for the next review. So if you want a chance to vote on what review you want to see next, go check it out there. Now, to move on to the video and explain what this series is. So, My Next Life as a Villainess is a series about a girl who dies and gets reincarnated into a video game she played as the main character or slash antagonist, Katarina. And now that she's now called Katarina, she now lives in that world as Katarina, what in the story is the antagonist, and she tries her best to make it so that way she doesn't get the doom ending of the game, such as the ones where the main protagonist gets with all the guys and she gets banished or sent off somewhere or something like that. So that's basically kind of like the whole story. She just tries not to get killed or banished or anything like that. She tries her best to survive in her life as a villainess. And I'm gonna be honest, when I first heard about this series, it had me both intrigued and not intrigued. Like, I thought it could be good, but is it gonna be good? And after watching it, I'm gonna be sharing my thoughts now. So some things I definitely would say I like is the characters. The characters in this show are freaking awesome. Some of them are funny, some of them are interesting. Like, I don't hate any of the characters other than this one character who, this may sound inappropriate from words, but it's one of those animes that likes to make fun of names. Like, there's this guy called Serious Deke, and you know, it kind of sounds like something else if you put two and two together. And when I heard his name, oh my lord, did I laugh hard just realizing it. I don't know why, but whenever I realize that stuff, it always makes me laugh. While I definitely didn't think his character and his story arc in this series was as good, I still enjoyed him as a character, and everyone else is just so much fun to watch, and I just really enjoy this whole story. The whole story. Katarina is a great protagonist, or antagonist. It's so confusing, and it's just really good. So the only thing I can really think of that I disliked would probably be, again, not just Serious Deke, but would definitely have to be some of the other story aspects, such as the main character's background. Like, it was one of those animes that did the thing where the character's already dead when they're reincarnated, because she was reincarnated as the villainess. And I don't know why, but most animes I've seen do that now, where the character's already dead, and I wish more of them would do stuff like what Konosuba did, where it actually showed how that the character had died and all that, and it would kind of explain that before beginning the journey. So yeah, I wish more shows would do that, the showing how the person was killed and then moving on to the main story, rather than trying to just say they're already dead and, oh wait, they were this, because that just feels like it pushes up the plot way too long. But overall, I still really enjoyed it. So for spoiler-free thoughts, I'd have to say that this series was definitely fun. There were a lot of moments I laughed hard, a lot of moments I chuckled. There was a lot of really fun stuff. The animation was good, and I really had a lot of fun. And every storyline in the show was just such a freaking blast. So that's all I can really say without spoiling too much, because while the story definitely doesn't have that much I can spoil per se, it definitely has its fair share of moments that I'd like to talk about that would definitely dive into more spoilerish stuff. So yeah, we're entering the spoiler section. Here is a timestamp to after the spoiler section is over. And yeah, I'm going to count down from 5. And once that 5-second countdown or whatever is done, I'll be moving on to the spoiler section of this review. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so In the spoiler section, one of my probably favorite aspects of the show that's made me laugh so much is definitely the harem aspect, where the main character has every single other person fall for them. Because for Katarina, it was completely unintentional, and it's just so funny. And it's not even just like an all guys harem. Like, I thought that was gonna be the premise, like she was just gonna get all these guys together and they were gonna become like her harem or something like that. But no, it was actually a mix of guys and girls, and it would just make it even funnier because just I wasn't expecting it. It was so much fun to see all these characters like talk and connect, and just Katarina doesn't realize it, but she's helping them so freaking much that it's just, her cluelessness is amazingly hilarious. And the fact is, Katarina, I wouldn't say is stupid, she's just oblivious. So even though she has the right, she has the kind heart and knows how to deal with scenarios, she also doesn't seem to notice around her that's how people react to her, and that's what's so freaking good about it. I just love the way that they do everything with her, and out of everyone, Katarina has become one of my favorite characters, with my second favorite character probably being Alan. And no, not just because in the English dub, Alan is voiced by the same voice actor who voices Kirito from Sword Art Online. I actually really like Alan as a character because of the fact that his whole rivalry with Katarina in the beginning of the series was definitely one of the heaviest times I laughed. I loved how every single day he challenged her, and he just got so angry, and to the point where they just ended up becoming friends. It was so awesome and hilarious. I absolutely loved their chemistry as characters. And Maria, the main protagonist of the story that's Katarina is stuck in, kind of seemed like that generic protagonist character, like the nice person who everyone likes. That was a little more off to the side. I really didn't care for her as much, but she's still a decent character. And then there's characters like Mary, Sophia, and Keith, who I think they were all decently good characters, but there's character. I know how I said I liked all the characters, but it's not like as in a I want to see more of these characters type. Like, it's more of a I enjoyed them on screen, but I wouldn't really notice if they were gone stories. I mean, I wouldn't say the Sophie or Sophia I think that's her name, the girl with the white hair. I wouldn't say she's as uninteresting as some of the others. She definitely has a very intriguing type thing, but I feel like her whole storyline of people thinking she's like a cursed person or something just reminded me too much of Amelia from ReZero, so it put me off, and it really felt a little bit weird, but I eventually grew out of it since a lot of the characters, they each have their own personalities, which makes them extremely likable. Giordo, the older brother to Alan, is kind of annoying. Again, I can't hate him as a character because he's just such a hilariously written character. I don't think that caught me off guard was with him in the English dub, since I watched the English dub of the anime. One thing that caught me off guard was how his voice was actually voiced by the same person who voices Yu-Gi-Oh! In Sword Art Online Alicization. So that caught me off guard, but I still really enjoyed it, even if Giordo as a character was definitely one of the more weaker parts of the story. But hey, they all had their good moments. After all, one of my favorite episodes is probably when the entire group gets trapped in a book, which is all about pleasing their desires, and every character wanted to be with Katarina, and then you actually see her dream. It's just food, and more sweets. Oh man, it was hilarious, and I just had a lot of fun. So we're at the conclusion, and here's my final thoughts. So overall, I think the show is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, and while I wouldn't think it's the most perfect anime out there, it's one that no matter how many times I watch an episode, I can still love watching it. And in my personal opinion, I really loved in the beginning of the story, which may sound kind of spoilerish, but at the beginning of the story, it takes place in her childhood, Katarina's childhood, and her older years take place in 3 or 4 episodes of the story. I loved her childhood story. I loved it. So, yeah, I really think there was a lot of good stuff in this show, and by far it has one of my favorite openings out of a lot of different animes. I could re-listen to that opening so many times. I never skipped it. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with this anime. I rate this anime a 9 out of 10. Extremely good, great cast of characters, awesome world, loved it. I really enjoyed it, and I think a lot of people would enjoy it too. Highly recommend it. Thank you all for listening. I'm JGC Anime, and I shall see you all around. Peace!